Bears hope this is their year to make the playoffs, and this man, Walter Payton, is closing in on his personal goal, Jim Brown's career rushing record. And moving up the coast of Lake Michigan, we're live at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, where the Packers launched their season against the St. Louis Cardinals under a new coach, Forrest Gregg, a star player in Green Bay during the Vince Lombardi era. Still live, we are now looking at Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands, where two old rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants, go at each other in an Eastern Division matchup. And finally, you are looking live at the Superdome, where it's the Atlanta Falcons against the New Orleans Saints, who will be led today by their new quarterback, the former New York Jet, Richard Todd.
Richard Todd is just one of 8 quarterbacks who is starting this NFL season with a new lease on life. I'll have a story on Todd and another quarterback who has found a home with a new team in a different city.
If you want one word to sum up what this 1984 season will be like, well, here it is. One word, upsets. There will be a ton of them this year. And
good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another year here on the NFL Today. Hard to believe now that it has been 7 months since we were all together in Tampa for Super Bowl 18. But here we are for the start of another year. And who will be this year's surprise team? 2 years ago, it was certainly the Washington Redskins who rocketed out of nowhere. I know that Jimmy the Greek is going to give me the Raiders again to win the AFC, but surprise me, make my day in the NFC. Will you?
I'm really going to make your day. You're formerly from Chicago, aren't you? Well, I'll tell you, get ready to watch the Bears. They're going to win the NFC Championship.
Chicago could not stand a Cub pennant and a Bear title in the same year. Do you agree with that? I can't believe he gave me the Bears, Herb.
Well, I like the Midwest, but, you know, you're talking about dark horses, right? How about the St. Louis Cardinals? 6-2 last year, best record the last half of the season. They beat the Raiders. I like them this year.
Normally, Phyllis, we're unanimous about the Dallas Cowboys going to win the NFC. I suspect maybe the change in quarterbacks has them. You talked to Tex Schramm about that.
I talked to Tex. You know, they've lost a lot of fantastic players. They've got 12 new rookies, but he kept referring back to 75 with the Dirty Dozen, and they went to the Super Bowl that year. That was the Hail Mary year with Roger Hogaboom. He says a different kind of fella. He's not out of the Staubach or even the Danny White mold. He's one of the boys who go out and have a few beers with him after practice. He's got a strong arm, maybe the strongest arm in the NFL now that Terry Bradshaw's gone.
Now, speaking of that situation, we have Danny White live at their practice session. And Danny, what about the talk about the newspaper poll and the players down there voting in favor of Gary Hogaboom? What was your reaction to that story and the impact it had on this decision-making process?
Well, first of all, Brent, my reaction was a little bit of surprise, simply that so many players would cooperate with a poll like that, something that splits a team as that does. And my second reaction after talking to some of the players was that the questions that as they were brought out in the newspaper were not exactly the way they were asked in the poll. And, you know, if you asked me if I felt whether or not Gary Hogaboom deserved a chance to play in the NFL, I'd vote yes, too. And that's really, I think, the question that was asked, and the way it was brought out was not really exactly the way it was asked. And I don't put a whole lot of credence or faith in things that I read in the newspaper around here anyway.
Danny, will you ask to be traded?
I haven't made that decision yet, Brent. Until everything settles around here and we see where we're going and what shape this team's going to take, I'm not going to make any kind of long-range decisions. I'm basically still dedicated to the Dallas Cowboys and doing what I can do to get this team to the Super Bowl. I don't think this is a permanent situation by any means, but if it turns out that way, I still have the same career goals that I've ever had, and that is to take a team to the Super Bowl, and where that will be is kind of a mystery right now.
Danny, what qualities do you think Tom Landry saw in Gary Hogaboom to give him the start?
Oh, I don't really know, Brent. You'd have to ask him that, but I think it's something that he felt the team needed at this stage. Gary's obviously a more, I hate to use the word enthusiastic, he displays his enthusiasm a little more than I do, and in that vein, we're a little bit different. And maybe he feels that's something that the team needs right now, that kind of a spark, that kind of a shot in the arm. I don't know. Like I say, you'd have to ask him. But at this stage of the year and under the current conditions, I just think he felt Gary was probably better for the team. And I disagreed with him, but he's the man that makes those decisions.
All right, Danny, thank you very much. Speaking of Coach Landry, who has a bad case of laryngitis today, we did talk to him earlier. Now, that newspaper poll, the controversial one that Danny White alluded to, I asked the coach if that weighed heavily in the decision-making process to switch to Hogaboom.
You know, you never know what has impact on your decisions. I would never go by that. I would never go by a player's vote. I wouldn't go by the news media's opinions either. But surely it plays a part in it, because I think as long as the vote's there, then there's some problem there. So you have to deal with that.
I was told that Hogaboom is sometimes almost cocky, that he has a leadership quality that is somewhat appealing to his teammates. Are you in favor of that kind of leadership at quarterback?
Well, I'm in favor of leadership, basically, at quarterback. Whether it's a confident factor that you either show it or you feel it. With Roger was never that type of quarterback, but when you looked at Roger, you knew he had the ability to do that. And so there's different ways to show the same thing.
Now with us live, the new quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, Gary Hogaboom. And Gary, what qualities did Coach Landry see in you so that he went and gave you the starting job tomorrow night? Unfortunately, Gary, we are having a problem hearing him from Dallas, so we'll see if we can get that straightened out, and we'll get back to Gary, and we will do that when we continue on the NFL Today in just a moment.
Sale. Save 10 to 35% on selected tires. Weather handler steel belted radials as low as 4 for $99. Save over 50% on these oil filters, just 99 cents. This Craftsman 99-piece tool set, now $88. This Craftsman circular saw or router, both half price, now $49.99. Hurry in for hundreds of savings now.
There's more for your life at Sears.
Tonight is unmistakably.
I really hate to leave.
Tonight is unmistakably.
You know what tonight is?
No.
Tonight is unmistakably.
Tonight's the night we have dinner at my place.
Tonight is unmistakably. Tonight is
It's a wonderful day.
Tonight is unmistakably. Steak and ale.
Here's to our place.
Many Visa card holders will soon receive their new Visa cards.
That's yours too?
Yeah.
For some, it will be the new classic Visa card.
I haven't seen you around lately.
Oh, I travel a lot on business.
Until your new classic card arrives, your current Visa card is as good as ever.
You want to break this in?
You're on.
It's a classic.
Your new Visa card.
Visa.
A day in the life of a Commodore 64. The Commodore 64. Once you get it, you'll wonder how you got along without it.
Our problem has been fixed, and let us rejoin now quarterback Gary Hogaboom, who will start for the Cowboys tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Rams in Anaheim. And Gary, let me repeat, what qualities did Coach Landry see in Gary Hogaboom that convinced him that you were right to start with this team?
Well, hopefully he saw some excitement, a little enthusiasm. I've been working hard to get the job, and he just made the decision to go, hopefully, with the best quarterback after preseason this year.
Enthusiasm. How will that translate on the field? What will Gary Hogaboom do differently than Danny White has done the last few years?
Well, I'm not going to compare myself to anybody, Brent, but I'm going to have fun out there. I'm going to try and make the reads that I have to make and get everybody going. It's the quarterback's job to get people fired up on the team and create some enthusiasm, and that's what I'm going to try and do.
Phyllis told me that in her conversation with Tex Schramm, she said you'll go out, you'll have a couple of beers with the boys, that they enjoy being around you. Is there a chance that you're going to get too close to your teammates? A quarterback sometimes has to be a little distant in these situations.
There's no problem with that. We're all people on the team, and I can't see us getting too close. We're all friends. When we get on the field, it's businesslike, and we know what has to get done, and that's the bottom line, is winning the game.
All right, Gary, good luck as America's quarterback.
Thank you, Brent. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Jimmy the Greek over here, let me address the question to you. How will the Cowboys perform now with Hogaboom as their starting quarterback?
Well, Hogaboom deserved a chance, Brent. But don't forget that he's still a rookie, just like Bradshaw and Theismann were, and he'll throw for some interceptions. Landry will have to have some patience for the first 2 or 3 games. And let's not forget one thing. There's no Drew Pearson on the Dallas Cowboys anymore.
Speaking of new quarterbacks, let's turn our attention to the card this afternoon. The New Orleans Saints and Richard Todd. Now, they host Atlanta. How do you analyze that game?
Todd's at the perfect place under Bum because he's a great father. I'll tell you, the Saints are farther ahead in the NFC, practice-wise, than any other team. They're going to be heard from. They will win.
All right, the Saints over Atlanta. The Chicago Bears, I'm still not sure how to read your prediction. They're going to win the NFC. Obviously, they're going to blow the Bucs out today. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, they're going to beat Tampa. But I'll tell you what, it took the Bears 2 years to learn that complicated Dallas offense that their coach brought up from there. So now they know it. They've got an offense and a defense. The Bears will chase Washington.
In other words, you'd love to lock yourself up with Hugh Culverhouse, the owner of the Bucs. He said he'd bet $1 million at that team. I guess we can't do that. Jimmy, what about Philadelphia?
Yes, we can.
What about Philadelphia and the Giants? The Eagles, both teams have had huge turnovers.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You need a real program. I mean, 19 on one side, 20 on the other. Philadelphia's rebuilding. They really are. And, of course, the Giants are still rebuilding. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think they're in better physical condition.
All right. San Francisco, Detroit. And this was a great playoff game last year, and the Lions came so close to winning that.
You remember Monty Clark praying on the sidelines? Listen, I tell you, it's tough to play in Detroit because of the noise. But when a game is a toss-up like this one is, go with the quarterback, Montana. I'm going with San Francisco.
Irv has been touting the St. Louis Cardinals. They're up in Green Bay to play Forrest Gregg's Packers, Jimmy.
I'll tell you something. They will be the spoiler. I'm not kidding you. Just like New England will be in the AFC, the Cardinals will be the spoiler, and they will upset the Green Bay Packers today.
All right, Jimmy, let's go over to Irv Cross. Irv?
Brent, as we saw a few moments ago, Gary Hogaboom is the new man at the controls of the Dallas offense. And in several other NFL cities, fans are pinning their hopes on new starting quarterbacks. Now, in New Orleans, this season's motto is, "In Todd we trust." And in Houston, the Oilers will be playing under the light of a silvery new moon.
Last year was a nightmare for Richard Todd. He was blamed for turning the Jets into losers. So now, instead of trying to live up to the legend of Broadway Joe Namath, Todd is pitting his skills against another former Alabama great, Ken Stabler. And during the preseason, it was Todd, not the veteran Stabler, who had the New Orleans fans whistling Dixie.
If I start, which they want to start this week, and if things go bad this week or next week or the week before or the week after, I'm sure that he's not going to be afraid to pull me and play Kenny, and it's not going to hurt my confidence at all. I know I can play. Kenny knows he can play.
I'm going to enjoy this year. It's my last year, and because I'm not the starter, I'm not going to let that ruin the fact that, that I'm going to have fun and be a part of a winning football team.
In Houston, meanwhile, no one had much fun last year as the Oilers staggered to the worst record in the AFC. In need of a new moon to brighten up their dark nights, the Oilers looked to the north, where quarterback Warren Moon had been tearing up the Canadian League. Moon signed with Houston for a reported $1 million a year.
I know there's a lot of expectations of me because of the money, because of all the publicity, and I think ability-wise, I have the ability to play in this league. It's just a matter of feeling comfortable and learning everything that I have to learn and trying to make the adjustment as smooth as possible.
You know, Brent, looking at the Saint team, Todd won that starting job. He's happy down there, but he still hasn't signed a contract for 1984.
Irv, I was looking at Kenny Stabler, the grizzled old veteran. I can remember when Kenny Stabler had a baby face, really, when he came out of Alabama. It's been that long since we started here on the NFL Today. We'll take a look back at the 10 years that have passed since then when we continue in just a moment.
Don't you wish everything fit like Lee? Fit like Lee jeans do. Don't you wish everything fit as well as Lee jeans fit on you? Don't you wish everything felt as good? Don't you wish everything only could? Don't you wish everything fit?
Lee, the brand that fits.
Out here, I'm the boss. But a few years ago, I felt foreign countries were telling me how much fuel I could have. Now I hear Phillips has geared up 2 super refineries for oil that's tough to work with. Stuff America has lots of, but refineries wouldn't mess with before. I can use any fuel, but I buy Phillips. They're helping us use American oil and be our own boss.
Fine products for you and your car from Phillips Petroleum, the performance company.
Accent the natural beauty of your home and save with quality True Test paints during fall paint savings at True Value hardware stores. Protect exterior wood from mildew and water damage with Woodsman oil-based clear wood sealer at $8.98 a gallon. Enhance wood texture with solid color latex stain for just $9.98 a gallon. Or use Woodsman semi-transparent oil stain to color and protect wood without hiding the grain. It's just $10.98 a gallon at participating True Value hardware stores.
Right now, your body's thirsty for more than water.
You're working your body till you can't do more. Gatorade is thirsty, so give your body what it's thirsty for. Gatorade is thirsty, for that deep down body thirst.
When you exercise, you lose potassium, fluids, minerals. Gatorade helps put them back fast. It's no ordinary thirst quencher.
Gatorade is thirsty, for that deep down body thirst.
You know, Brent Nerve, a great deal has been made out of the number 10 in gymnastics. Do you remember Mary Lou Retton? We all fell in love with her. In diving, Greg Louganis. Even the popular movie 10, the one with Bo Derek, of course, and the Bolero music. Well, we can't quite make the claim that the past decade on the NFL has been a perfect, smooth 10, but that's been the fun of it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take remote.
Outside, there's lots of snow. Inside, there isn't. Now, let's go to Phyllis George at CBS Sports Center in New York.
3.
Say, Lindsay, I think you've got terrific taste in sports jackets.
It began 10 years ago with an unusual mix. I was there, sitting alongside a former Miss America, Phyllis George, and a former NFL defensive back, Irv Cross. We set out to inform and entertain.
Everyone in the world compares me to Joe Namath, you know, as far as, you know, the idea of off the field. He's single, bachelor swing, and I'm married and family, and, you know, he's having all the fun. And, you know, I enjoy sex as much as Joe Namath. Only I do it with one girl, you know?
There you go.
We had fun, and we had fun sharing it with you. We even sent Irv out to try to cover Roger Carr of the Colts.
Oh! Gee whiz! Can you believe it?
You look like you slowed down a bit in comparison to Carr.
16 years ago, I would have stayed with him.
In our second season, Jimmy the Greek joined us, our big fullback, analyzing games and forever enlightening us.
There's no love here. The intangible part of it is Knox wanted the Detroit job. He didn't get it. He will try to kick, you know what, out of Detroit. All right. You know why they got that open part in Irving Stadium?
No, why is that?
So God can watch the Dallas Cowboys play.
His favorite team, right?
And through the years, we shared the good times with all the viewers.
William and Mary, I would like to wish you a merry playoffs and a happy Super Bowl. Keep on smiling, Phyllis. You're much prettier than Brenner Irv.
We had become a family. But sometimes families feud.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the NFL today, or maybe I should say, as the world turns.
Because one night, Jimmy and I had a highly publicized barroom scuffle, and reports to the contrary, no moss. There would be no rematch.
Round 2.
Neither Don King or Bob Arum will offer $10 million for a rematch between Brent and the Greek.
You are looking live at an empty Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh.
Players of the National Football League.
First and foremost, our intent was always the same, to inform the football fan.
Will be on strike.
And for the first time since the strike began, Garvey said he is optimistic.
Can you move the Super Bowl? In other words, can you push that back at all? I'm talking now about the date, not necessarily the site.
I don't think so.
Don Shula would like to come, Brent. He'd like to come to New York. One of the little obstacles is he'd like an apartment in a building that I have on Fifth Avenue called Trump Tower. And that's something that's more valuable than money.
By the way, Howard Cosell may say bye-bye after this year.
Pardon me? Howard may retire after this year?
He will retire.
That's great.
How
I got a gray hair now, too, Jimmy.
Yeah, I've got a few myself.
I had a few tears. I don't mind telling you, a lot of great memories.
I missed the gold chain, Greg.
Yeah, well, somebody took it.
Hey, you were right once on Howard Cosell. Hey, that was good.
Well, as we all got older, I hope we got wiser.
I think we have. I'm 10 years older and 5 pounds lighter. Much wiser, no doubt about it.
I've been a mother of 2 now, 2 children. When I started this, I was single. It's been great.
You notice after 10 years, he still sits there and listens to all this?
Your hair's a little darker, a little gray in the temples. That's about the only thing I could notice.
Yeah,
same smile, same...
Best of all, though, we've had these great moments to share with the audience.
Oh, gee,
and they are the true stars of this piece, the way they have stuck with it. And we will continue now with our coverage of the NFL today, and hopefully we will have 10 more years of great memories to bring you. And we'll be right back here on CBS in just a moment.
What does it take to excel?
I know the deadline. You'll get it tomorrow.
It takes speed, reliability, economy. It takes express mail next day service from the post office. Our 2-pound pack is just $9.35 overnight, and we deliver over 95,000 packages on time every day.
Yes, we got them. Oh, and Jerry, thanks.
Express mail service. We deliver excellence for less.
Hi, I'm Terry Bradshaw for Z-Rex Antifreeze and Coolant, the premium protection that lasts all year. Z-Rex protects your engine in all kinds of weather, from the bitter cold of a Pennsylvania steel town to the steamy heat of a Sunbelt summer. And it blocks out rust and corrosion, even in cars with aluminum parts. Hey, Bradshaw, you're next. I wish I could get this kind of protection on the field all the time. Z-Rex Antifreeze, premium protection that lasts from Conoco.
If you want to do work like an expert, it helps to have the mind of a craftsman. Sears Craftsman electronic power tools are so advanced, they practically think for themselves. Their microprocessor memories and electronic sensors give you more precision, more control, and the same quality that's made Craftsman bench power and hand tools America's best sellers.
There's more for your life at Sears.
The best thing about the last 10 years, we still can laugh at ourselves. But listen, I'm afraid there's a bit of bad news for those of you who tune in every Sunday to watch the high fives and the cool jive and some of the other popular dance numbers in the NFL. The plan this year calls for football, pure and simple, without all those frills.
Not this season, there's a reason. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, don't ask me.
The chaperones who watch over these Sunday mixers felt that some of last year's dance routines were a bit too exuberant, a little too much Saturday Night Fever. Remember this breach of etiquette when a couple of frustrated cowboys tried to cut in on Washington's Fun Bunch? So now the lords who run the NFL have come up with a new rule. But what is prolonged and how much is excessive?
Fans come to see it. They love to see it. What more would you like to come see on a Sunday afternoon than watching a grown man dance in the end zone?
Now here's a penalty called in a preseason game. Now I ask you, is that excessive? Well, if so, how about this one?
That's great. You know, and they even had a celebration in the end zone. They didn't call a penalty this time.
And finally, will the league's most famous breakdance artist tone down his act?
Let's just play it by ear, and when I score, you know, I might have some surprises for you.
My heart won't let my feet do things they should do.
Phyllis is on her way to Anaheim to see the Rams, and the Greek just told me he likes Miami against Washington. We'll see you at halftime.
Coming soon.
Your husband is dead, Mrs. Reynolds. They murdered him.
She's out for revenge, but she needs help.
Do you have access to weapons?
Oh, I can get my hands on anything I need to survive.
Now they're a team that goes anywhere and Americans in trouble.
You're very good at this.
I do this for a living, you know.
They make the sparks fly.
Kiss me.
What?
What are you doing?
Just fine if you wouldn't mind turning off that light.
John Eric Hexum, Jennifer O'Neill, Cover Up, coming soon on CBS.
This is CBS.
You can buy for wholesale with no money down if you buy from Mel Clayton Ford during this Labor Day weekend. Mel Clayton has a huge selection of brand new 1984 cars, trucks, vans, and motorhomes priced and posted with a wholesale factory invoice. You pay only the wholesale price, which is clearly circled on every invoice, plus any dealer added options. Choose some Thunderbirds, Mustang convertibles, Broncos, and motorhomes. Hundreds of vehicles. Save hundreds up to thousands of dollars when you buy at wholesale. Sale ends Monday, 10 p.m. Labor Day. Don't miss it. Mel Clayton Ford and RVs.
I don't know the first thing about craps, you know, yet I had to just win $4 million.
On Entertainment This Week, Rock Hudson, with all the high-rolling excitement of his new TV movie, Las Vegas Hotel Wars. Then,
I play a tough undercover cop. It's hard to throw guys around when you weigh 148 pounds.
From WKRP in Cincinnati to Simon & Simon, discover how Tim Reed keeps in shape for his many roles on Entertainment This Week.
Tonight at 10:30.
This is not a pretty sight, and you know what it's like to be stuck in rush hour traffic. Want to know how to save money, save our air, and save yourself from those bottlenecks? Share, if you care, through the regional ride-sharing program. It's carpooling and much more. It's Park and Ride and Phoenix Transit buses. One call gets you free ride-sharing information for your area. Help solve our traffic problems. Call 262-SAVE and share if you care.
KTSP TV 10 Phoenix.
That great crime a few years ago. Remember that? It's the first visit for Bill Walsh's troops back to the site of Super Bowl 16 where they beat Cincinnati, and they're in here right now. I'm Tom Brookshire, along with Wayne Walker. And Wayne, coaches never like to talk about the first game as being important, should they lose it. But the players have given us the idea, both teams, that this is almost a playoff game in their mind.
Oh, it really is. This is the opener. This is the one they've been waiting for, all those long hours in training camp. They've pointed for this one. The 49ers kind of cruise their way in, 2-2 into preseason, no big problems. The Lions, on the other hand, they have 4 quarterbacks on their roster. They didn't make a decision on who would start till earlier this week. It was Gary Danielson, not because of what he did in the preseason, but because of what he did in the second half of that playoff game out in San Francisco a year ago.
4 quarterbacks on a roster. That's the first time I think I've ever seen that in this league. Only 49 players. That's still the limit. The 49ers have lost the toss. Detroit will take the football, obviously. And while we don't have a sold-out crowd, we are getting pretty close. Be over 60,000. Robbie Martin and Jenkins back, number 31, back for Detroit. And Monty Clark's team is a team that does everything pretty well and not to be taken lightly. That's Wergin, of course, Ray, one of the most consistent kickers, maybe in the history of this league. He's a good one. '84 is underway. It's a low squib kick taken by Jenkins. Jenkins out to the 27, where a host of 49ers put the arm lock on him, but a pretty good field position starting out. Here's the offense. Gary Danielson is the quarterback, as Wayne Walker told you. Jimmy Jones, a big, good fullback who can catch it. The great Billy Sims. Nichols and Chadwick, 2 pretty good receivers. Chadwick, very underrated. David Lewis, the big rookie, is starting to tight end for Cal. Stringer and Dorney, the tackles. Dieterich and Greco, the guards. And Steve Mott, the big giant from Georgia, in there at offensive center. Here's the first snap. Ball's on the 27. The toss back to Billy Sims, 20 left. Sims maybe a couple short of the 30-yard line as Ricky Ellison makes the tackle. Stover, Manu Tuiasosopo, and Wayne Board will be the 34 up front. Buns playing that left side for the first time in a while. Ellison, Jack Reynolds back forever, and Tina Turner, an excellent linebacker on the outside. You know about the secondary. Lott, Wright, Williams, and Hicks, the best. The coach in his 6th year at the helm on the Bay, and certainly now as the president of the club, firmly entrenched there forever, I would imagine. Billy Sims gets his second call. Ooh, cuts back. Makes a couple of people miss, including Ronnie Lott, and gets to almost the 35-yard line.
They're in a situation right now, Brookie, that Gary Danielson said that they need to do all day. They don't want to have it more than third or 5 or 6 against the 49ers, because the Niners have an exceptional nickel defense, and it's hard to pick up the 10 and 12 yards against them, but you can pick up the 5 and 6 sometimes by throwing underneath. So what they set out to do, they started out with double tight ends. They wanted to make it third down and short, and so far they've done that.
A good job. You're looking at Gary Danielson back into a Detroit shotgun. By the way, Ronnie Lott limped off the field after that last missed tackle. Leonard Thompson is in the game. Across the middle at the 40-yard line, number 39, Leonard Thompson makes his first catch. And he's only been back to camp for 3 days.
Just signed a contract 3 days ago, reported to camp, hadn't taken a hit, had caught some balls, was moving well. You have to take it easy when you haven't been working out, because you might pull a muscle. So he just kind of cruised in those 2 or 3 days and save it up for this afternoon.
Billy Sims is out. Chadwick comes out. Jenkins is in. A much deeper squad than they've had here in Detroit for a while. Ronnie Lott being administered to on the sidelines. He's standing. That's the best sign we've seen. First down and 10 on the 40. Inside drive to Jimmy Jones. The big draft choice of a year ago, and man, he can run good pass routes, and we're told he's one of the most cooperative big stars to come in this league for quite some time.
Everybody we talked to in the Lions organization, from other players to the coaches to that gentleman right there, Monty Clark, said that James Jones is going to be a star in this league.
Monty Clark, about as relaxed as we've ever seen him. He has a lot of San Francisco ties, none of which will hold up today.
His relaxed isn't real relaxed.
That's as good as it gets. Second down and 8. The drive, strong side reverse by Jones, all the way outside. Looks like close to Detroit first down into San Francisco territory. McLemore pushed the big fella out there.
Well, that was almost student body left that time. They had a lot of people out in front of him. Ken Jenkins, number 31, the lead blocker. Billy Sims told us that we just ask him for cracks. We don't need gigantic holes. We just ask him for cracks.
He got outside, which shows you the speed that the 230-pounder has. He ran it sort of from a power formation. Shouldn't be able to get there as a fullback. First down inside San Francisco territory. 2 first downs in a row. Billy Sims is back. He's the tailback. The toss back to Billy Sims, running left. Sims crashes to the 42-yard line. Buns comes up with the ball, but let's see what the officials say. Frederick is the umpire in charge of this crew, and they call it actually no fumble. The ground cannot cause a fumble. I think that's what that rule reads.
You'll see that right here, straight power now. Off the I formation, over the left side on the toss. Billy Sims says he prefers to run outside the tackles, but he can cut back and get the yards there. Well, it looked like it might have been coming out of there before Sims hit the ground.
He's so good about leaving his interference and finding the hole. Goes on his own. Second down. 3 to go. Danielson on a misdirection play to Jimmy Jones, the fullback, about the 40, hit very hard there by Keena Turner. That was a good tackle. The big fellow was underway. Stover also helping on that play. This will bring up third and short, a very good offensive play calling situation. On the ground is Big Stringer, the offensive left tackle. We'll be back, no score, but Detroit seems to be on wheels.
Toyota presents the 59.98 work week. Monday, it works. Tuesday, it works. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it works. Saturday, it works for the fun of it. The Toyota Standard Bed truck. And at $59.98, you got a sticker price that hasn't changed in over 2 years. No wonder the truck world is saluting Toyota. Oh, 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 what a feeling. Sundays are optional. Toyota.
Your 35mm camera can capture spectacular images on film, but can the place where you get your film processed capture those images on your prints? Eckerd can, because only Eckerd has UltraLab 35, which examines each shot for color and contrast, prints on high-gloss Kodak paper, sleeves your negatives, and gives you 30% larger prints. So if you own a 35mm camera, you need UltraLab 35, or you might as well use this. Ultralab 35 from Eckerd. When you're serious about 35 millimeter.
You're looking at Rich Stringer, the big Michigan Wolverine All-American. He's going to his second year here in Detroit. He's a 270-pounder, and when they hit that AstroTurf, the artificial, it's really like dropping out of an airplane. That's a big crash.
Rookie, he started 4 games for the Lions last year and did such a good job there that they moved Chris Dieterich, who was the offensive starter there last year, into guard. So if he goes out, if Springer goes out, more than likely they'll move Dieterich back out to tackle, and then come in with Homer Elias, who was also a starter, so they're not going to go down much in quality. But this young man they had bright hopes for.
Boy, local fans, of course, here in Detroit remember him from just down the road at Ann Arbor, playing for Bo Schembechler. The Michigan connection. Well, he doesn't look seriously injured.
Rookie, we got some on the other side of the line, too. Ronnie Lott, injured ankle. He's back in. Eric Wright was injured, and he may not play again this afternoon. Left knee for Eric Wright.
Oh, boy. Ronnie Lott, of course, one of the premier cornerbacks in this game right now on the sidelines. 3rd and inches. Double tight end formation. Billy Sims for the first down, and Detroit has not given up the ball and only thrown 1 pass.
That's what they wanted to do. Remember when we talked to Gary Danielson, they said, we'd like to keep the 49ers. You look at Eric Wright there, number 21. Danielson said, we'd like to keep the 49er nickel defense off the field because we feel and they feel that that's their best defense.
Eric Wright's on the sidelines, but Ronnie Lott is now back in the lineup, and that is also sort of symptomatic about him. He doesn't want to sit on the sidelines at all. You've got to really hurt Ronnie Lott to put him on the bench.
Mario Clark is over there playing for Eric Wright.
A twisted knee for Eric Wright. You're absolutely right, Wayne. Single back is Billy Sims. That's Jones, the motion man. The inside reverse play. That's Nichols. Nichols behind Danielson's block to the 25-yard line. The quarterback led the play. A reverse. Sims to Nichols.
You'll get at least one of these a game from Monty Clark. They'll always love the reverse. Watch Danielson now. He runs past Carlton Williamson, number 27, looking around, trying to find somebody to block. If he peel back right here and get number 27, Carlton Williamson, Nichols is going to make some more yards.
He took a shot. It wasn't the best block I've ever seen, but it was textbook.
Well, you know, Gary said that's the reason I won. Monty named me the starting quarterback because I'm the best tackler.
An impressive drive by the Detroit Lions. A 9-7 team a year ago, a playoff loser, but they're a stronger, deeper team this year. Handoff to Jones running the strong side. Oh, hit hard by the 49ers at the 24-yard line. Stuckey, the first man to jam it up. Hacksaw Reynolds playing in there. We all remember in this very ballpark the stirring goal line stand that beat Cincinnati.
Hacksaw had 2 big hits in there, and look, he looks like he's limping. Might be nicked a little bit going off.
You know, a lot of people are not working very hard in training camp. I don't mean to be the kind of guy that thinks you ought to play everybody 4 games, but a lot of people didn't get much action, including Jack Reynolds.
And he said he might be a little rusty. Jim Fonhorst in there for Reynolds.
2nd down 9. Jim, the younger brother of the big offensive tackle. It's a running pass with Jones. JJ is going to be hit and dropped for a loss. Back to the 27. Good defense as Tuya Sissoko came over from the nose tackle position, and getting him from Seattle might have been a real gem for this ball club defensively.
He's real active, extremely quick. They also have Louis Kelcher. They also have Michael Carter, who is a silver medalist in the Olympics in the shot put, so they're pretty well stacked at that nose tackle position right now.
A beautiful blend of different talents, eh? A first tough situation for Danielson and the Lions. 3rd down and a bunch. 3rd and 11, call it. This is when that good nickel defense comes into play for San Francisco. The shotgun. Uh-oh, movement by Jones. They got away with it, no flag. Now the flag is called. Danielson running to the 9-yard line. There is a flag back on the 37. Bob Frederick tells us holding against Detroit. Good run.
Well, Danielson's a good athlete. You know, when I was here playing for the Lions, Rookie, I lived right down the street from where he went to high school. I used to go there and watch him play.
Offensive holding.
Always been a good athlete.
Number 70. Third down.
Keith Darney was the fellow called. We don't have to tell you about the holding rules or lack of rules. That they could call it darn near on every man on every play.
Now in that long yardage situation that the Lions wanted to avoid, the Niners now can just tee off and come after it.
Dean is not here. The designated pass rusher par excellence has not signed a contract with San Francisco. And he led the league in sacks a year ago. They can still put a lot of heat on you. Third down and 21. Danielson. A screen out to Billy Sims, who drops the ball.
49ers gave him a different look on defense. They didn't have a nickel. They had 3 down linemen and a ton of defensive backs in there that time. So without Fred Dean, they didn't use their nickel in that situation. They only rushed 3.
Smart, huh?
Good.
Put it on and take it off. Billy Sims was not looking around, but he sure has a chance to pick up some yardage on that. He is at 212 pounds this year, bigger, stronger, and happier contract-wise. He's going to be something. Mike Black to kick. McLemore, one of the best, is back to watch the ball go into the end zone, probably. Black had 17 out inside the 20 as a rookie. Here, let's see. Pretty good kick. Down there to try to make the spike, but no cigar. San Francisco will get the football for the first time on the 20-yard line. And there's no score here in the first.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
Come on.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy? He missed the tag! He missed the tag!
No. Behold the Doubting Thomases.
No.
They don't believe anything you tell them about cars.
No way.
They don't believe you can get a roomy front-wheel drive car that's affordable and gets great gas mileage, too. Impossible. Then we showed them the Toyota Corolla, the high-mileage sedan that's roomy and downright affordable.
Come on, how can Corolla give you so much for so little?
It's just a Toyota tradition.
We believe! We believe! We believe!
Member of the Clark family that plays for San Francisco, the number 3 quarterback out there.
Mixed emotions?
Yeah, Monty just says he can't pick the kid's brain. The kid's too smart to tell him anything. Here's the fake reverse by Tyler, keeps it, and Wendell Tyler gets out to the 27. Jimmy Williams had to pull him down there, and the 49ers went from the early snap. Montana, the quarterback. Wendell Tyler, Roger Craig, 2 excellent all-around football players. Dwight Clark, almost all the way back. Francis, Paris, Ayers, Quillen, Cross, and Fonhorst. Very good offensive line and getting better every week. There he is. Man from Western Pennsylvania. And Notre Dame, Joe Montana on 2nd down. Here's the reverse dash by Montana. Boy, he handles himself beautifully. Tyler stacked up at the 32-yard line. Jimmy Williams making his 2nd tackle on defense. Here is that defense. William Gay at left end now. The rookie Eric Williams at left tackle. He's going to be busy. Doug English, the Pro Bowler at right tackle, and Mike Kofer at right end. They do a lot of stunning. Cobb, Steve Doig is in there. Fantetti has not signed. And Jimmy Williams. Doig will be really pressured today, too. A real good young secondary. Watkins, McNorton, Graham, and Alvin Hall. They played extremely well a year ago. First down for San Francisco. Here's Tyler, just short of the 40. Darn, Wendell looks really quick this year.
Extremely quick. He gets up there as well as anybody, and Roger Craig, a great compliment to him back there, is a good lead blocker.
Detroit had the ball for 7 minutes and 21 seconds, but didn't get anything out of it. remember, keep in mind that the Lions stud a lot on defense, and once in a while you can run the heck out of a studying defense. 2nd down 5. Montana, quick drop. Now he dances, now he moves. He's sacked, he fumbles the ball. Gay has the ball. William Gay goes to the 4-yard line. Cofer got a block.
Watch it here now. You can credit that good defensive secondary that Brookie was telling you about for this. Montana can't find a soul open. Mike Cofer comes from behind, strips the ball away. Number 79, William Gay, is there. And if he's got anything, he's got quickness. Montana made an effort. Here it is, ground level. Watch the strip right here. Hand goes around, the ball is out, and the Lions are in business.
Montana almost lost his left arm trying to make the tackle on Gay. Danielson, Sims to about the 2-yard line. Montana's strong forward is not throwing the ball for interceptions. Should he have unloaded that ball and thrown it out of bounds?
I don't think he had anywhere to even do that with. The coverage was really good back there, and I think it was just trying to get outside so he could get a second look. But Cofer, with good speed, ran him down from behind.
Cofer has good speed, and of course he buried the quarterback and prevented that tackle. Billy Sims, hits hard, drags to the goal line. Let's see how close he got it. Dwight Hicks doesn't think so. Second effort by Sims.
Just going to say that was second effort. You can see that pile move a little bit after it looked like it would stop. Still some discussion down there now.
Bob Frederick was talking to Billy Sims. Sims is acting like perhaps they're...
He had an unsportsmanlike conduct for the second man, not the scoring player, spiking the ball. That 5-yard penalty will be carried over to the following kickoff. However, the touchdown counts.
Reese McCall spiked the ball for Billy Sims. And if there's one rule that's ridiculous, is this exuberance rule where you can't have any fun in the end zone after a touchdown.
Here it is right here. You'll see it close. Look at the effort now by number 20, Sims. See, he moved the pile. He's in. The ball was loose, but the ball was across. All it has to do is break the plane of the goal line. If he has possession of it there, it's 6 points, and he did.
Eddie Murray will try the first extra point. Officially for him this year, Eric Hipple, the number 2 quarterback, is holding. He's got 123 in a row, and that is the NFL record right now. Billy Sims gets 7, or at least 6. Detroit draws first blood.
Why has Toyota stood the truck world on its rear? All new trucks. Trucks with power features, performance features, comfort features, work features. New generation Toyotas. You can't buy a better value. Starting with a price that hasn't changed in over 2 years. $59.98.
Oh, what a feeling.
Stood them on their rear.
Toyota.
I'll be all right. Yeah.
Murph, could you lock up tonight? I've got a date.
Hey, that's great, son. How about a cup of coffee?
I can't tonight, Dad.
No, but sorry, Murph. Bowling, I forgot. But have a good time, all of you.
To a guy with real spirit.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Now, the 49ers contended that Billy Sims did not have possession of this football when he crossed the goal line. You're not going to get a better look at it than this. Still has possession, still has it, leans across, he breaks the plane of the goal line.
It was 6.
Boy, is he strong. At 212 pounds, which is about 6 pounds, it looks like he's put it all in the thighs and the shoulders, doesn't it?
He said he worked harder this offseason than he has any time in his career. And those 2 extra efforts that we just saw, I think, proved it.
Eddie Murray has had a little bit of a back problem this week, but he is kicking off. Derek Harmon, the rookie from Cornell, may take it. Harmon, good run back, a good wedge, breaks him out to the 37-yard line. Good special team play by San Francisco, and they were worrying about this area a little bit. Barnes made the tackle there. 2 plays, 3 yards, and a lot of discussion. Only took them 39 seconds, but in their minds it took about 2 hours. Football players never forget. Joe Montana now with a fumble that was run deep by Bill Gay earlier. Back on the play pass action. Montana. Beautiful throw to Solomon at the 40. Nice throw by Joe Montana. Let's go now to New York for an NFL update with Brent Musburger.
Tom, the New York Giants have scored against the Philadelphia Eagles. Some question about the Giants' attack this year. This was 3rd down. Sims from the pocket went to his tight end, Zeke Moat. 24 yards. They lead the Eagles 7-3. Let's go back to Detroit.
Okay, Brent, that's a battle of ancient rivals, the Giants and the Eagles. Straight handoff. Wendell Tyler. Tyler to the 35-yard line and in a hurry. Watkins hanging on for another tackle. Boy, the 49ers are coming off the ball quickly. Their offensive line is making contact with that 4-man down front for Detroit very quickly.
Everybody thinks that the 49ers are a finesse team because they throw the ball around so much. But when we talked to Doug English, the defensive tackle for the Lions, he thought that the 49ers up front were as tough as anybody, and he was talking physical.
Yeah, I've heard that Cross and Farnhorst are as 2 physical players on the same side as there is in the league. Tyler behind Farnhorst gets to the 25-yard line. Alvin Hall making a tackle in the secondary.
That's where he ran again. Rookie, like you said, behind Randy Cross and Keith Farnhorst over on the right side with John Ayers on a pull. And is he quick enough?
49ers. And you know the big fella tight end can block too.
Russ Francis Bill Ross, he's got about the best technique of blocking as any tight end he's seen.
He stays with his blocks a long time. 49ers are now mad and stung a little bit. It looks like they're beginning to really hum it. It's a 1st and 10. The toss back to Tyler. Tyler inside the 20 to the 19. Cutting and slashing. And the secondaries had to make 3 straight tackles.
That time they blocked the tight end down on the defensive end and pulled Keith Farnhorst, the offensive tackle, out.
Don't forget, immediately following the conclusion of this game, CBS Sports coverage of the U.S. Open Tennis Championships continues. You'll see Jimmy Connors versus Andre Leconte. And that's going to be something because he's the last fellow that actually beat Bjorn Borg a few years ago, didn't he?
No, he beat him, you know, in a tournament about a month or so ago.
In Stuttgart.
Yep.
Right here on CBS, the greatest tennis in the world. 2nd down and 4. The quick draw. Number 32, Monroe. He's got the 1st down. Gary Cobb gets his first call, and he's a linebacker for Detroit.
I'll tell you what's happening right here now is just the simple fact that the 49ers offensive line is dominating up front. Look at Ayers with English right there. Stalemated him. Blocks out on the linebackers. Nobody touched Monroe until he was 6-7 yards downfield, and for the Lions, that's not a good sign.
And Fantetti is a great middle linebacker against the run, and he's not even suited up. He's somewhere up here in the stands. 2 tight ends, Cooper and Francis in now. Montana, quick throw to Francis inside the 5 to the 2. Alvin Hall barely able to hold on. Hall came up with the ball, but late.
It's aggressive blocking by the offensive line. It keeps everybody's hands down. And Montana had to seem to look over. Nobody on the run.
Anybody have better feet at quarterback than Joe Montana, really? About
pretty nifty.
Dan Spolero. Russ Francis still a load at 240 pounds and finished very strongly in '83. Cooper in motion toss. Back to number 33. That's Craig. Good defense out there. Back to the 7-yard line. Watkins up quickly.
Great play by the cornerback, number 27, Bobby Watkins, who third year in the league and third year as starter for Detroit. This group, as you said, is starting to come together here, this defensive secondary in Detroit.
Wayne, is this one of the noisiest ballparks in the league? I think
it's the noisiest. It is. 49ers are concerned about that, too, getting this crowd back behind the Detroit team, and they can really pump them up.
Second down and 5 on the 5. Montana dashing out to the right. Dumps it. Touchdown. That's Monroe making a diving catch, but it wasn't a hard one to catch. Montana took a little bit off of that and just made sure of the touch.
Montana rolled right. Monroe went in and looked like he was going to run a pattern inside, pivoted back out, had a step, and Montana had it right on the money. There goes Monroe. He's lost inside. He comes back out on the linebacker. Has a step. That's what they want.
He's only 166 pounds. You can't lose him out there, maybe. Wershing now trying for the extra point. Montana holding. They got a tie game. The Detroit defense put the Lions close, but I'll tell you, this was an offensive drive that did sting a little bit. The 49ers came out and loaded it up. First quarter action. How about that? 7-7 at the end of one.
There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place.
Believe it or not, there's finally joy in Mudville. Introducing the 1984 Toyota Tercel.
There was pride in Casey's bearing and a smile on Casey's face.
This front-wheel drive Tercel will get you where you're going with more room inside than any other subcompact. The new Toyota Tercel, Toyota's lowest priced car.
And finally, there is joy in Mudville. Play ball!
Federal Express introduces the biggest thing we've done in years. It's a new service that lets you send a copy of any letter or document coast to coast in just 2 hours. All you do is pick up the phone. We do the rest. Federal Express introduces Zap Mail. It's absolutely positively incredible.
Emergency medicine calls for expert diagnosis.
I think he's fine. I could be wrong.
Elliot Gould stars in ER.
This is a big needle.
Tom Brookshire with Wayne Walker, and that first quarter went very quickly. I think Bill Walsh was happy to see this offense finally be able to get on the field and get a good drive going.
I think so. You know, he's been a lot more relaxed, I think, this season and in years past, too, Bricky. I think that he felt that their good performance last year kind of vindicated that Super Bowl year.
Robbie Martin and Ken Jenkins back. Wershey's kicked deep to the 4.5-yard line. This is Robbie Martin. Nailed and buried at the 15. Good coverage again by San Francisco.
Ron Ferrari, a special team crazy, was down there.
You got to have him now. They're going to even put him in the Pro Bowl game as special team performers. 8 plays, 62 yards. And Montana was incredible indeed. A 5-yard TD pass to Monroe, the little fella. Now let's see if Detroit can start and do something 80 yards away. Nichols comes out to the left. Jones and Sims, the backs in the eye. Quick drop by Danielson going up, and a beautiful catch by Nichols at the 36-yard line. Carlton Williamson knocked him out there. That's a good throw by Gary Danielson.
He went right to work over there on the spot and vacated by Eric Wright, who we said hurt a knee earlier. Dana McLemore over there now. Earlier it was Mario Clark. McLemore doesn't get a lot of playing time at cornerback. Danielson pumped and then put it right on the money.
You almost have to get a bump on that in that short zone, in that 5-yard zone, which is legal, or the guy can split you once in a while there, huh?
McLemore really kind of played it the right way. At least he didn't let him inside. He kept it outside, and it's a tougher throw for the quarterback there.
Danielson got a pretty good ovation when introduced, and I think he's very much pumped up about this. Inside drive by Jones. J.J. weaves to the 44-yard line.
Ricky, they say that this young man has better field vision than any player that Monty Clark has ever coached or the offensive coordinator Bill Nelson has ever coached. Almost you can see this right now. Watch this cut. When he's got the ball now, they say he can practically see everybody on the field. Look at him looking around. Huh. He made 2 90-degree cuts there.
Looked like he was coming through a couple of revolving doors. Yeah. He just made the right shift. Good play by the second-year fullback. Second down and 2. Sims and Jones. Jones outside. Might have crawled for a first down. Let's see where the zebra spotted. Tuiasosopo was there, but maybe just a little late. New Orleans leading Atlanta. That is a football score, folks. 7-5 in the first quarter. St. Louis on top of Green Bay, 7-0 also in the first period. St. Louis, a good-looking ball club this year. The Giants, with that touchdown Brent told you about, have Philadelphia down 7-3. A field goal for Philadelphia by McFadden, their new kicker, and the length of the ball for a first down. Remember, Detroit moved this ball extremely well in that game a year ago. But don't forget, next Sunday, it all starts with the NFL Today. Dallas against the Giants, Green Bay against the LA Raiders, Detroit and Atlanta, and Minnesota against the Eagles. 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and you check your local listings. It all starts with the NFL Today. And I'll tell you, we're going to have some football season here on CBS. First and 10. Danielson with a lot of time on play action. Now he's rushed. In and out of the hands. In and out of the hands.
Dwight Hicks.
Dwight Hicks.
Dwight Hicks would like to have that one back.
There's a flag down at the 26-yard line of San Francisco on Ronnie Lott's side.
Defensive pass interference, number 29, first down.
Mario Clark, rookie.
Ronnie Lott is not in there at the left corner spot.
No, we've got Mario Clark playing the left, Dana McLemore playing the right, so both 49er starting quarterbacks are out of this ball game.
That replay did not show where the contact took place. Anything over 5 yards now, the defender cannot lay a glove on the receiver, which makes it virtually impossible in my humble opinion. First and 10 from the 26-yard line. Detroit still with the ball. Inside drive by Jones, trying to find a hole and doesn't find much. May have gotten a yard and a half. Danny Buns and Board and several others. Buns is getting a good shot at that outside linebacking spot on the strong side, huh?
Number 57 is the first year he has played the outside. He was an inside linebacker before. They lost Willie Harper, of course.
San Diego with a touchdown over Minnesota, 7-3. Tampa Bay trailing Chicago 3-0. Can't believe they're having bad weather in Chicago this early. Kansas City 7, Pittsburgh 3 in the first. A lot of action, but nothing like we're having right here in the Silverdome. Out of the eye, Billy Sims jumps over 2 people and vaults inside to the 18-yard line. He jumped over somebody on the line of scrimmage.
I tell you, he gives up his body when he runs up in there. Ricky Ellison, number 50, had him right in his sights, and I know Ellison went through his mind, and he said, I'm going to level him. I've got him. I've got him. He's mine. Watch number 50 here. And look what happens. Right over the top. Where'd he go?
Some athlete.
Yes, sir.
We said, where you been living in the off-season? He didn't say Manhattan or Chicago or Paris. He said Hooks. I said, where's that? He said, Texas. Hooks, Texas. You know where that is. I said, sure.
He still wears his high school jersey underneath that Lions jersey.
And he's very much a relaxed player this year. Shotgun on 3rd and 3. Danielson loves the short. Out to Sims. Sims tackled well by Hacksaw Reynolds. What a play. He must have read that one last night, going over his notes.
Not going to fool him much. Not going to fool him much. And I'll tell you what, he can still move surprisingly well for a guy in his 15th season. He knows where to go. He was keen, Sims, all the way. Pretty good lateral movement for a guy that they perhaps thought they didn't want back on their ball club this year. He told Bill Walsh when Walsh maybe kind of intimated, why don't you retire, Hacksaw? Hacksaw said, well, I'm going to be playing somewhere. Whether it's San Francisco, I'm going to be playing somewhere.
It's a good thing they've got him. What a play. A big one. It's forcing Murray now to try the field goal. Eric Kipper will hold. It's going to be from the 29, so call it the 39-yard field goal attempt. His back has been bothering him now all week. A high snap. Boy, dead solid perfect. A high snap was handled by Eric Hempel, and Eddie Murray scores again.
I crushed a lot of quarterbacks in my day, and I'm real sorry. So I wrote this letter. Dear quarterbacks, I apologize for the way I've treated you. Please let me buy you a light beer from Miller. Light's my beer because it tastes great. I'm sure it's yours, too, because you little guys can't afford to get filled up. Hope to see you soon. Sincerely, L.C. Greenwood.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Announcing Sears Automotive and Hardware Sale. Save 10 to 35% on selected tires. Weather handler steel belted radials as low as 4 for $99. Save over 50% on these oil filters, just 99 cents. This Craftsman 99-piece tool set, now $88. This Craftsman circular saw or router, both half price, now $49.99. Hurry in for hundreds of savings now.
There's more for your life at Sears.
I hear that L.C. Greenwood has invited quarterbacks to join him for a light beer from Miller. Well, here's my reply. Dear L.C., I accept your gracious offer. A quarterback is far too intelligent to turn down a light beer because it's less filling and it tastes great. Even you big, clumsy linemen know that. Hope to see you here soon. Sincerely, Bert Jones. Come on, Bert!
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
How'd he do that?
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less. Your Toyota dealer and Toyota's lowest priced hard-working truck, the Standard Bed. And by Federal Express Zapped Mail, an exact copy delivered door to door in just 2 hours.
Eddie Murray breathing once again, the little field goal kicker who had to live through a pretty tough offseason, even though he's one of the game's very, very best. Here's his kickoff after that 39-yard field goal. 2 yards deep in the end zone is Carl Monroe. Monroe, the 160, she kind of fumbles the ball at the 24. Johnson caused it.
I always have a tough problem seeing this. But it's hard to time. There's always bodies flying around. They're going full speed on special teams. You be the judge right here. The ball is out before it hits the ground. Now you try to see that with the naked eye, it's double.
Yeah, it's really impossible, but that was a fumble, but San Francisco comes out. They trail by 3. Pass to Clark. Almost intercepted, almost caught. And Bobby Watkins was all over 87.
Bobby Watkins made a great play that time against Dwight Clark. And remember, he was talking to us when we sat down with him the other day. The thing that concerned him most about going into this game was he didn't know that much about Clark, because Clark didn't play against him last year in the playoff game, and he didn't know how Montana would use him since he's coming off knee surgery. He just found out that Montana's going to look at him a little bit.
A little bit. 4 years, the last 4 years, number 87 has averaged over 70 catches a season. Make no mistake, that's quality. 2nd down and 10. Montana with no backs back. He's going to throw it. He dumps it off. That's Craig. The Cornhusker picks up about 7 or 8 yards and is dumped on the far side at the 37-yard line.
Young guy right there, Brookie, just got better with every game last year. Now, again, the 49ers really pick on the linebackers. And you got to play linebacker against the 49ers. You got to be ready to run. Doig, number 58. He's in his 3rd year, but basically making his first start a little bit behind Craig, and Craig picked up some important yardage.
And Craig, even though he's a big fullback type, has tremendous speed and can be very hard to get in the open field. 3rd down and 2. We got 10 minutes left before half. Montana reloads and hits Solomon. Solomon pulled down at the 43-yard line by Doig, the middle linebacker, or he'd have been gone.
Looked like the Lions were in a zone that time, and Montana and Solomon hooked up right in between it. This is the easiest throw that the quarterback has to make, a slant-in pattern right here. He can see it well. It's right in front of him, and he had it right on the numbers to Solomon.
And Freddie is an extremely smart, crafty receiver, you know it? Good play by the group. Solomon from Montana. Straight drive play. Wendell Tyler. Pretty good defense up front that time. Give Wendell a couple of yards. Doug English making a tackle. Don't forget college football starting September the 15th on CBS Sports.
I'll tell you, Brookie, that one could be a preview of the Rose Bowl. It's going to be played out in Pasadena in January. Those two teams are good.
Pac-10, Washington Huskies, they went to a bowl last year. And, of course, the Michigan Wolverines from the Big Ten. 12 o'clock Eastern time right here on CBS. Our third shot at it, and we love college football, too. Second down and 9. Wendell Tyler inside the 40. Barely. William Gay chasing him down from the far side. And Cobb. There's the big fellow that picked up the Montana fumble and thought he was Crazy Legs Elroy Hirsch for a few yards.
Originally came as a tight end. We talked about his speed when he was running with that fumble. He is very quick because he was drafted as a tight end.
By Denver, I think, for some reason. He's a good player, and he puts on a good pass rush. Big play right now. Third down. Call it 6. Francis in motion. Montana reloading. He's got Clark. What a first down catch. Those two know each other so well.
How many times have you seen that? Clark went down, found a dead spot, hooked, and Montana, like you said, almost has a feel for where he is. Doesn't have to be looking that way.
He's always ready to throw it, too, and it looks like, he doesn't have to reload it.
Watch Dwight Clark now. He'll be coming from the left of your screen. Right there. Watch nobody there. Watch him hook up right here when he sees himself free. Waits for Montana. His body English tells Montana that he's ready.
We'll talk about his knee in just a moment. First down play. The 49ers are hot. Monroe. Carl Monroe really hit hard at about the line of scrimmage. English and Doig. There's Doug English, the big Texan. A great stunner from that inside position, a fine football player. New Orleans still 7-5 over Atlanta in the second period. San Diego with another touchdown, laying it on the Vikings 14-3. New England 14, Buffalo nothing. Look out for New England. Second down 10, Montana. Nehemiah inside the 20 to the 16. And a pretty good pull-up by number 83. Pretty smart little pattern.
Well, they always give him a little cushion. He comes in the game, and they look over there, and they know it's a guy that ran the 110-meter hurdles in 12.9, so they don't play him real tight. And he catches a lot of balls right in this middle area here. He runs hook patterns, and because they have cushioned him a little bit when he comes off the line, he's been open a lot.
I thought after he got knocked out in Atlanta, he might never run a crossing pattern again, but he's coming in there once in a while, huh?
I'll tell you what, Brookie, that was some shot he took last year.
Good catch in 84. Here's the handoff to Tyler. Wendell Tyler dives into the 12-yard line. Wendell Tyler's another guy that doesn't save anything for the junior-senior prom. He gives you everything he's got, doesn't he, from the first game on.
He got over 800 yards for the Niners last year, and that's what they wanted. They thought they could get him close to 1,000, but in a way, it wasn't a real good year for Wendell because he did lose the ball in some critical situations for him, but I think they've got that resolved. I think they've learned the fact that they're going to have to live with that if they're going to have to live with Wendell Tyler.
Take some of the good, a lot of the good, huh? Bad.
Don't dwell on that bad aspect.
Second down 7. Montana driving the 49ers. Open is Clark at the 5. Clark to the 2. He's double teamed there. Watkins and Graham, but not before he's taken them goal to go.
Now remember the last time on that pattern we showed you, Dwight Clark came over the middle and then hooked up. Montana hit him over the middle. This time he starts in over the middle, looks like he's going to hook up again. He pivots and comes back outside, and he has a step on number 27, Watkins.
Good pass blocking, too. Farnhorst and Cross and those people really stopped him on the line of scrimmage, gave him the time. Russ Francis is in. Also, Cooper's in, short yardage. First and goal from the 3. Tyler, touchdown, San Francisco, standing. Bubba Paris, the big second-year tackle, some block on that left side.
John Ayers over there, too, at guard, and Cooper was the lead man in motion, and you know they're getting a good job done over there. Now watch, Wendell Tyler basically doesn't get touched. Now look at good job there by 33 Craig, too, on the lead block. Wendell bounces out. Really didn't have to break a tackle to get in the end zone. They cleaned him up over there.
Looked like a couple of tackles were made while they were blocking, but they did a good job of clearing everybody out of there. Wershing to kick the extra point. Number 16 is holding. Montana scrapes it up and puts it there. A signal by Bob Frederick. It's good. We've got a real good ball game here. First one out of the box. We told you it's going to be like a playoff game. San Francisco 14, Detroit 10.
71 years after Alexander Graham Bell uttered, "Watson, come here," Bell Laboratories invented the transistor and ushered in the computer age.
Gentlemen, we've done it.
Well, Watson, watch us now. Today, AT&T introduces the new computers with flexibility to grow with you.
Better, Mr. Watson?
Ooh. Flexibility to combine with communications.
Yes, Watson, I see.
I've analyzed that data, Mr. Watson.
Flexibility to integrate with existing systems and form networks.
Has Watson seen this?
The new family of AT&T computers from AT&T Information Systems, when you've got to be right.
Nearly 4 hours. That's how long it took us to paint this room with a roller. Then we painted it in less than 1 hour with the new Wagner Power Roller. A living room that took nearly 7 hours. The Wagner Power Roller finished in less than 3. The Power Roller pumps paint straight from the can to the roller or to any of several optional accessories. Why waste your time painting a pan when you could be painting your walls instead? The Wagner Power Roller, the right tool for painting.
The Honda Big Red is one of the most fully equipped machines you can buy. It's got electric starting, an automatic clutch, a powerful 4-stroke engine that can pull up to 850 pounds. It's even got hydraulic suspension front and rear and a very handy reverse gear. In fact, the only thing Honda's Big Red doesn't come with is the driver.
Joe Montana is on the earpiece over there. Look at those numbers.
Pretty good numbers for a guy who was a touch under the weather yesterday afternoon after the Lions practice here at the Silverdome. He went and had to closet himself.
9 of 10. Kickoff by Wershing. Robbie Martin at the 5. Martin gets away from a couple of people and drags people to the 22-yard line. 4:51 left before halftime. A 14-10 ball game. We'll be right back.
This is today's Chevrolet.
Chevrolet Caprice Classic, one of the world's great automotive values. And for 13 years in a row, the full-size Chevrolet has been the best-selling car of its kind. It's easy to see why. Compare Caprice's deep cushion comfort, its ride, its full-size room, and its affordable price. You can, of course, spend more for a car. But why in the world would you?
That's real value.
That's today's Chevrolet.
I tell you, playing polo is a lot tougher than it looks.
Sure is.
And even though the horses do the running, you still can work up a thirst.
So after a chukker or two, we have veterans drink light beer from Miller.
Yeah, light tastes great, and it's got a third less calories than a regular beer.
And it's less filling.
And that's important, because tomorrow we're going to try our hand at water polo.
Yeah, I sure hope those horses can swim.
Me too.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And less.
Coming this fall from the executive producers of Flashdance.
This is the stuff that dreams are made of.
Dreams come through this fall on CBS.
We're indoors. We're in that beautiful Silverdome in Pontiac. But it's hot in here. It's 70-something degrees outside. It might be 95 in here. Billy Sims being caught and dragged down at the 22-yard line. That's Stuckey, formerly of Clemson. He's really beefed himself up. Now, what are they going to do about the Dean situation out in San Francisco? I know the talk is that he only wants about $1 million for 20 plays a game, but he is the greatest pass rusher around.
Well, he is, and I really don't know what they're going to do. They said they've made their last offer, so I guess the ball is in Dean's court right now.
It's an expensive game. Second down and 11. Gary Danielson, the quarterback for Detroit. Across the middle. Hits Lewis, is tied in. David Lewis, the rookie, made a good catch at the 31. Danielson looks like he's handling it pretty well. There's the number 2 quarterback who played most of the game last week against Cincinnati. There's Eric Hipple.
He might even beat a number 3 or 4, Brookie, because they got a ton of them. Mike Machurik, Hipple, Danielson, and a rookie by the name of John Witkowski. A 4-man quarterback controversy, as you see Machurik there. And Monty said when he named Danielson as the starting quarterback, it wasn't a lifetime appointment.
Machurik and then the kid from Columbia, Witkowski, right? And we said 10% of the squad's at quarterbacks.
I'll tell you, that's a lot of pressure on all 4 of those people.
A lot of headsets from the sideline. Here's the inside drive. Billy Sims stacked up. Good defense by Stuckey. Stuckey and Tua Sissoko came under. They did a heck of a job from the right side. I don't believe he made a yard. Boy, you're short yardage and Billy Sims can't get a yard. That's tough. 3 minutes left before halftime. The Lions have battled very evenly with the 49ers, but the 49ers really look to me like they're very poised. They don't get shook about anything. There's young Mike Black, the second-year man from Arizona State, for his second kick. McLemore is back to run it back. A little bit of a problem for San Francisco has been their special teams punting both ways. Here's Black. This is a good kick. McLemore at the 26. McLemore at the 27. David Jones down under that, the snapper. A 43-yard punt, a 7-yard return. We got 2.5 minutes left before half.
This is today's Chevrolet.
This Celebrity Eurosport has it all.
Well, Sarah, Eurosport's got what it takes to handle a road like this.
Nice ride.
Special F41 sport suspension and available high-output V6.
Built for touring.
Front drive.
Room and comfort.
Rack and pinion power steering.
And this is a beautiful drive.
It sure is.
Eurosport, the celebrity that's got it all.
Well, that's today's Chevrolet.
Yeah.
I mortgaged my house to get my first tug. Believe me, the Jeannie T needed plenty of work.
Good night, Skipper.
Today, I own 2 others just like her, because we give our customers a good, honest pull for the money, and that pays off. People who make Meisterbrow work the same way. These days, I can pick any beer I want. This tastes as good as Budweiser, and it doesn't cost as much. Gentlemen, the drinking lamp is lit.
Meisterbrow. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
This fall, Mama's in the maternity ward, Papa's in the pokey, and their baby's playing hard to get.
No, don't bite the doctor.
It's the all-new Aftermash, coming soon.
Monty Clark on the sidelines, played with the San Francisco 49ers after collegiately played at SC, but he hadn't lost his heart there, not right now. He even coached there. Montana is sacked at the 24-yard line. Curtis Green in at left tackle making the sack.
Almost surprised to see him in there. He pulled a hamstring about the very first practice of training camp and hasn't done a thing since. Curtis Green right there with a good surge up the middle.
Boy, he threw cross right over his shoulder, didn't he?
You see the result.
First sack. Montana did fumble once when he was being hit from behind by Kofor. There's Green, who hadn't played much till today. It's funny how these war horses come out when the game gets started and they start lathering up and taping up they play.
Well, it's funny how those other teams spot those rookies in there too, because Eric Williams was the rookie that was starting in front of Curtis Green.
2-minute warning. There it is, Wayne. San Francisco 14, Detroit 10.
You know people like us, we're teachers. Firemen, people just like you. These are the uniforms we wear at work.
But these are the uniforms we wear when we serve part-time in the reserves and the National Guard.
You see, in the reserves and the Guard, you not only serve your country,
you're part of a first-rate team.
Training alongside real buddies.
Yet while you serve, you can live at home.
And keep your full-time job.
Because in the reserves and the Guard, you don't have to give up one life to live another.
The reserves and the National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter.
This is Chevrolet Corvette.
You've never seen anything like this before.
A Corvette superb in its engineering and defiant in its performance.
Never before.
Corvette performance you won't believe. And a digital information center you can't ignore. This is your Corvette, America. Technology. That's today's Chevrolet.
Brookshire and Walker, Pontiac, Michigan, the Silver Dome. Heck of a ball yard. A lot different than what we used to play on, Wayne, but here's Montana. 2 minutes left. Oh, throws it in the flat. Intended for Craig, and it's probably a good thing he didn't catch it. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, the NFL Today, the group's back in the New York studio waiting. Brent and Herb with the scores and highlights. And a look at today's U.S. Open, the tennis action, the very best in the world, coming up at halftime. Russ Francis comes back in, speaking of the best in the world. For a while, though, he's sort of been dormant, but I think he's coming on now to really become a valuable property. 3rd down and 18 to go. The dash and roll. Montana across the middle. One hop into Clark.
You don't see number 16 make that kind of throw too often.
Pretty careful with that one, wasn't he? He's got the lowest interception percentage darn near in the history of this league. It's 2.6 or something. They did out of every 100 throws or intercepted.
He is the highest rated career passer that the National Football League has ever seen in that complicated rating system of theirs.
Here's Tom Oro's, his first punt. He drives this one. The punting battle won by Oro's. Back Robbie Martin at the 20. Martin to the 28-yard line. A big punt, a 51-yard punt, a 4-yard return. The Lions offense is coming on the field.
Look what the computer wizards at Apple have come up with now. It has the power of these 2 computers, a built-in disk drive. It can run over 10,000 different programs. You get everything you need to hook it right up to your TV. You can even add a mouse. Introducing the Apple IIc. Now comes the real magic. You can take it home for under $1,300.
There. That's Tom Lee's car. Tom wasn't a State Farm policyholder when we met, but he had a claim against one of my policyholders that started about here and went all the way over to there. Well, we smoothed things out for Tom, and he was pretty impressed. But that's not unusual. Ask your neighbors. Fast, fair claim service is one reason more of your neighbors insure with State Farm than anyone else. Ask anyone. If you know Tom Lee, ask him.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
1:38 on the clock here. What is Super Bowl was played a few years ago, and San Francisco won. Gary Danielson with one back behind him. That's Jones in motion. Sims is the back. He stayed in the block, and Danielson goes down to 20-yard line. Good sack by Board. Dwayne Board coming quickly.
Number 76 is Dwayne Board, working against Homer Elias, number 61. Took him outside, took him inside, and he is perhaps their best all-around defensive lineman.
Again,
probably not even perhaps. I'd just go ahead and say he is.
Of course, though, with Dean on the team, it gives you the luxury of having another great pass rusher to put anywhere along in a 4-man front, huh? 57 sacks a year ago. That was second in the league. They may be better than that if they get Dean back this year. Here's the screen by Danielson. That's Billy Sims with the ball at the 20. Sims dragged down at the 28-yard line. Hicks made the tackle there. You want to grab him and get help.
I tell you, there's nothing scarier in your life as a defensive player to look over and see Billy Sims getting the ball or somebody like him in the open field. Good job by Danielson on the screen. Held it a long time, a deep drop, and now there's 3 big guys out in front of number 20, and you got problems. But they reacted extremely well. Dwight Hicks, number 22, was the one holding on for help.
Solid-looking defense, though. Those linemen smelled it and almost got into it. 54 seconds left before half.
This is today's Chevrolet.
Hard working.
And who knows more about hard work than a farmer?
We know trucks, too, because farmers buy more trucks than people in any other kind of business. And we own more Chevys than any other make. Farmers ask a lot of their trucks every day. And when it comes to tough trucks, like this 3/4-ton 4x4, farmers pick Chevys. Hard-working trucks.
Tough. That's today's Chevy truck.
Say goodbye to America's favorite can of motor oil. That Quaker State quality America has trusted for over 70 years now comes exclusively in this unique, easy-to-pour plastic bottle, made to cost you nothing extra.
So long, Spouts. See you, dirty hands.
Goodbye, oily rags.
No more leaky cans.
Get Quaker State's pen-grade protection and no mess, easy to open, pour, and reseal. Today, you need an oil this good in a package this good.
The big second-year tackle, Rich Stringer, the Michigan alumnus, is heading for the dressing room in that mechanized hospital cart. We hope that knee injury is not serious. But halftime, they want to get him in there a little early. It's a 3rd down and 10 facing Danielson. He's in the shotgun. 54 seconds left. Chadwick comes into the slot. He's coming across. It's Chadwick at the 35 to the 40. Does he get out of bounds? No, he's going to keep the clock going. Remember, Eddie Murray has a 54-yard field goal. In fact, he did it against San Francisco last year in the playoff game. So Danielson finally gets the timeout call, and he's mad.
Well, they lost some seconds there. That's what Gary's upset about.
About 10 seconds before they got it.
Tell you, a lot of pressure on him today, you know, with all that controversy swirling around here about who's going to be the quarterback. He said, I can't let it bother me. I'm kind of used to it. He said, I think my strength as a person is my resiliency. He said, I've been used to it, and I haven't had an easy career. He said, nothing's really been easy for me, so I can really accept that. He said, I don't need their backing going into this game. He said, what I want to do is I want to have their backing when I come out of it.
Dynamite. You know, I liked what Monty Clark told us after the playoff game when he had 5 INTs against San Francisco. He called him up and he said, you know something, Gary, you really grew up. You did a heck of a job. You took the responsibility, and you really did a job, and I'm proud of you. And I think it's helped their relationship, don't you?
Yes, it did. I think Monty has a lot more respect for Danielson than he had before, and even though, you know, Gary didn't step right out and win that job in the preseason, I think Monty always kind of knew that he had him as an ace in the hole.
Billy Nelson is standing right behind Monty Clark on the sidelines. Billy, a former quarterback himself, and he will really help. He's in his first year working with the quarterbacks, and I think he'll help Gary and those people. 1st and 10 now with 34 seconds left and 2 timeouts. Each team has 2 left. Danielson with a lot of time. He's going to run with it. He's into San Francisco territory at the 45-yard line. McLemore forced him out there.
I asked Gary, I said, Gary, you know, because you're on the hot spot out there, will you take it easy? Will you be careful with your passes and things like that? And he said, no. He said, I'm a reactor. He said, what I see out there, I'll react to. And I don't want to do too much thinking out there. He did some good thinking here.
Stop that clock. Still got 26 seconds left, and he's got a 1st down now. And now any more 1 or more completions, and Eddie Murray, bad back and all, will come in and give it a strong shot before half. 14-10, San Francisco leads by 4. Shotgun. That's Nichols. Uh-oh. The clock's gone. Too much time used up.
Delay on the offense.
Not a very popular decision here at the Silverdome. Don't forget, it all starts at halftime. The NFL Today group, they're waiting back in New York. Brent and Irv with the scores and the highlights. And, of course, a look at today's U.S. Open tennis action. Boy, they're out there in New York, and they're playing up a storm. We can't wait ourselves. The NFL Today group, that's at half. 25 seconds from now. Shotgun on 1st and 15. Got some pressure, the screen. Out to J.J. Jimmy Jones breaks the tackle and gets to the 37-yard line. The timeout's been called with 15 seconds left. I'll tell you, that big fella runs like a small scat back.
You could almost see what they were talking about on that play when they talked about his vision.
Detroit wants desperately a field goal shot. They may get it.
Within the shadows of our glittering cities, we are plagued by the nagging realities of our inner cities, and the problems don't have easy answers. These kids are great, with raw talents and energies, but with lack of opportunity, no chance of employment, no one to talk to, too many of these young people make choices that destroy their futures. The problem of alcohol and drug abuse is a tremendous problem in our nation, a problem that has no easy or simple answer. I'm Gary Cobb of the Detroit Lions, and this is my wife, Boone.
And as United Way volunteers, we know that there are no easy answers to these problems.
But here in Detroit, we're trying to find a way through the United Way. Through United Way agencies, we're providing alternatives for our young people. Involvement in sports, career development, guidance, and counseling. Giving our young people a chance to say no to drugs. United Way, thanks to you, it works for all of us.
Yeah!
This message furnished by the National Football League.
And the Boilermakers back from talking with Nelson and Monty Clark. What does Danielson have there?
Pretty good first half for a guy on a tightrope. He is 7 of 8 for 64 yards.
And Lord, he's run for a couple of first downs, too. Pretty good job. And they are going against one of the good football teams. It's a 3rd down and 4. I believe that's 2nd down and 4. It is. A shotgun. The scoreboard's wrong. Oh, Chadwick has it and can't hold on at the 30. Turner made sure that Chadwick didn't put that one away. That would have given Murray a field goal chance there.
Tina Turner can close on that ball when it's in the air for a linebacker. He may have almost got a hand or hit Chadwick just as the ball got there to strip that ball away. Number 58 right there makes as many big plays from the outside linebacker position as I suppose anybody this side of Lawrence Taylor.
He's quick too. Huh?
Can run.
3rd down and 4. 3rd down and 4. The shotgun. Danielson needs another completion. Nichols catches it at the 25. It's good, and it will stop the clock.
Yeah, they've got to get their field goal team out there now. That was just a great throw and a great catch that time.
I wondered if he could get his feet down in time. He seemed to drag him across.
Out of the shotgun. Now, Mark Nichols was the #1 draft choice here in Detroit a couple years ago. He had progressed a lot slower than they wanted him to. He had a good preseason, and they feel right now that he's on the verge of breaking out, and he showed their why there.
This is going to be a field goal attempt from around, it'll be a 43-yarder, I believe. As we've said, Eddie only missed 2 between 40 and 50 a year ago, and he missed nothing up to 40. Right down the pipe. Bad back at all. We've got a 1-pointer with 3 seconds left. San Francisco 14, Detroit 13. You betcha. Danielson is happy indeed.
Wasn't it funny what Danielson said? He said, going out there knowing if you don't perform really well, he said it's like going over and playing Oakland Hills or the TPC, one of those real tough golf courses with only 1 golf ball, because if you lose that ball, you're through.
Actually, he didn't find out he was going to be the starting quarterback until like Monday, wasn't it?
That's right.
Because Machurik, of course, started most of the preseason and then is on the bench. Don't forget, next Sunday, it starts with the NFL Today, and then CBS brings you Dallas against the Giants, and they never have liked one another. Green Bay and the Los Angeles Raiders. Nobody likes the Raiders anymore. Detroit against Atlanta, and Minnesota goes against the Eagles. 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on CBS. Don't forget, it starts with the NFL Today. The Giants 14-6 over Philadelphia. The Eagles with only 2 field goals to show, and they thought they had their offense untracked. Here's Eddie Murray's kickoff from the 35. It's a squib. Taken by McLemore, and he'll get out of bounds, and that should be the last play of the first half. The 49ers are up. And Detroit's heading to the same entrance and exitway. They've only got a point between them. That's the end of the first half. A score, San Francisco 14, Detroit 13.
Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chevrolet, with performance, style, innovation, quality, and the value that make up today's Chevrolet. Apple Computer, makers of the new Apple IIc, a serious computer of incredible proportions. And by Quaker State Motor Oil, now in new easy-to-pour and easy-to-reseal plastic bottles.
The final basket. Match point. The last lap. Right now, your body's thirsty for more than water. It needs Thirst Aid. Gatorade.
Gatorade is Thirst Aid for a deep down body thirst.
When you exercise, you lose more than water. You lose potassium, minerals, fluids. Gatorade puts it all back fast. It's no ordinary thirst quencher. It's Thirst Aid.
Gatorade is Thirst Aid for a deep down body thirst.
Some things look hard, but once you know the secret, they're easy.
It's easy.
Some people think financing a new car is hard, but it isn't. It's easy.
It's as easy as GMAC.
With GMAC, buying or leasing a new GM car or truck is easy. Ask your GM dealer and see how easy it is. Financing a new car may seem hard, but once you know the secret,
it's as easy as GMAC. It's easy.
If you want to do work like an expert, it helps to have the mind of a craftsman. Sears Craftsman electronic power tools are so advanced, they practically think for themselves. Their microprocessor memories and electronic sensors give you more precision, more control, and the same quality that's made Craftsman bench power and hand tools America's best sellers.
There's more for your life at Sears.
In the weeks ahead, CBS Sports Saturday will put you ringside for 2 live bouts. Thomas Hitman Hearns will put his title on the line against third-ranked Fred Hutchings. Heavyweight Jerry Cooney returns to the ring against unbeaten Phil Brown. And you'll see a world-class field take part in the first-ever New York Triathlon. Plus, the Woodward Stakes, the Marlboro Cup, a report on the NFL executive behind the Jacksons Tour, and more, all in September on CBS Sports Saturday.
Welcome back to New York. I'm Brad Musburger with Irv Cross. And Irv, let's take everybody to the scoreboard, get them up to date. If you've got a fantasy league, get those pens and pencils out. Here come the scores and the distances. 19-14, Falcons lead the Saints right now. They are in the second quarter. Hey, watch Rick Bryan here. Rookie from Oklahoma is going to take Richard Todd down in the end zone. Going to be a safety for Atlanta. You got to throw the ball quicker than that. Then it was Todd. He said, I'm not going to throw it this time. I'm going to pitch it to the bull. Get in there, George Rogers. And he does, 3 yards out. And Atlanta, at the time, trailed only 7-5. Then what happened to this next play, Irv?
Because Steve Bartkowski had a great year last year, Brent, leading the league in passing percentage. Hits Alfred Jackson on the hook. Goes upfield. Now watch very carefully. He has to cross the goal line in order to score. Does he cross or not? Ball's hit right there. I don't think he scored. He won and protested, but to no avail.
Here's Todd again, Irv, and this time he goes into the end zone to Teron Young, and it was 19-14 as Atlanta came back and scored again, and here it is, Gerald Riggs. This was 4th and 1, and he got in from the 3-yard line, and of course, you know the story about Gerald Riggs. He has to replace William Andrews, who suffered that serious knee injury. Now, Miami and Washington, what a shootout this is. At last check, Quarterback Dan Marino had 12 of 15 for 182 yards, 2 touchdowns to Mark Duper, 26 yards and 74 yards. Green Bay and St. Louis, and the Cardinals trail it by 7. Len Dickey has thrown another touchdown pass in there for Forrest Gregg. Watch the snap taken by the short man here. Look at it. Stump Mitchell fooled the Packers completely. 26-yard gain right there. Then it was our guy, Neil Lomax. You really like the Cardinals this year, don't you?
I really do. Strong arm. Watch this pass to Pat Tilley. Great concentration, stepping in for the 15-yard touchdown.
Then Dickey came back, and he went 4 yards to his tight end, Paul Kaufman, for Forrest Gregg, and that put them ahead, 14-7. And you can see Dickey right now, waiting, pop over the middle, touchdown. All right, moving along now to San Diego and Minnesota. It is 14-3, 2 touchdown passes by Dan Fouts, both to Wes Chandler, 21 yards and 18 yards. Tampa Bay leading Chicago. It was the big scoring strike here, 7-6, 2 field goals for the Bears. And watch Jack Thompson. He dropped back, and he shakes off Richard Dent, goes long here to Gerald Carver. And this is a 75-yard Buccaneer touchdown. I think I said Carver. I see Gerald Carter up there. I must have pronounced that one incorrectly. Early in the season. All right, Kansas City and Pittsburgh. It is 24-10. Chiefs over the Steelers. Philadelphia and the Giants right now. Giants lead at 14-6. They are in the second quarter of that one over in the Meadowlands. And watch Phil Simms go to Zeke Mott over the middle for a touchdown. We updated this play earlier in the afternoon. And it was 7-0 after the extra point. That was third down right there. Then, Irv, who is this Byron Williams that he wants to find?
Boy, I tell you, he really hurts the Eagles on this long pass. You'll see it in a few seconds. The Eagles feel that in order to be competitive, of course, they can't give up the long pass. Everybody tries to do that in the National Football League. But Byron Williams, good concentration, hangs on for a 65-yarder. It really broke the Eagles' back.
All right, Irvin, we've got another score from the AFC, the New England Patriots. A lot of folks like this team. 21-3 they lead. Grogan went 65 yards to Stephen Starring, and Tony Collins scored on a 4-yard run in there for them. And, of course, the game you're watching right now, and that has San Francisco ahead of Detroit by a single point at 14-13. You know, earlier today on the NFL Today, we spoke to Dallas Cowboy coach Tom Landry about that difficult decision to switch from Danny White to Gary Hogenboom as the Cowboys' starting quarterback. I suggested to Landry that the mood he showed earlier in the week at the news conference suggested he was thinking about retiring at the end of this season.
Well, of course, anything's possible, Brent, but, you know, I don't anticipate it. I feel very good now, except my voice is kind of messed up today, but I feel good. It was a tough decision, though.
And let me update this score for you right now. Over in the Meadowlands in New Jersey, you can see that the Giants are ahead of the Eagles, and it is 14-6. There in the second quarter, and here is Simms. Throwing into the corner. Touchdown. And, you know, we will continue here with the NFL Today on CBS right after these messages from your local stations.
Coming Sunday, September 16th, this is ER, where emergency medicine calls for quick diagnosis.
I don't suppose you want to tell me how this happened.
This is stupid.
I never touched it. Is that you?
You see, we were in bed together.
Got it. Emergency medicine requires composure under pressure. It's a special preview. Sunday, September 16th. Elliot Gould stars in ER.
Who's next?
This is CBS.
I've driven in the snow, and I've driven in the mud. Let me tell you, neither's fun, bud.
Drive on Bridgestone. Drive on.
Eats up snow and tracks like an arrow, drinks up the water and spits out the miles, and that's miles of smiles.
Drive on Bridgestone. Drive on.
Being safe and feeling right, you got your world locked up tight, right? Right.
Drive on Bridgestone. Drive on.
High-tech tread design for all kinds of weather. The name is Bridgestone.
Drive on Bridgestone. Drive on.
When this tough Toyota four-wheel drive truck isn't busy working for you, it's busy putting on a show for you. Taking on trails, climbing hills, and with the highest running ground clearance of any small 4x4, it'll get you places that take your breath away. The Toyota four-wheel drive truck. It's got the muscle and looks that make the rest of the truck world applaud.
Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
Since the beginning, man has recorded history in the sands of time. Some monumental, some mildly interesting, most incredibly trivial. Now enough stuff has happened that America can finally play the ultimate TV trivia game, Jeopardy! Never before has there been such challenge, delight, reward for the lucky few who pass the test. Jeopardy! 18 million trivial years in the making.
Beginning September 17th, here on TV 10. KTSP TV 10 Phoenix.
All right, we've got the Giants score squared away now. They kicked the extra point after they scored on that touchdown pass you saw. It is 21-6 over in the Meadowlands. Now, you know, this is another busy round of tennis action coming up later this afternoon, our coverage of the U.S. Open. Among those playing today will be Jimmy Connors, who is going for his third straight U.S. Open singles title. Now, we have more on that story from Pat O'Brien.
Thank you, Brent. The big story thus far today here at the National Tennis Center. Top-seeded John McEnroe advances as expected with a straight-set win over Kevin Moyer of South Africa. Now, it had been anticipated that McEnroe would face Kevin Curran, but Curran had a sprained ankle and defaulted to Moyer. So let's look at John McEnroe's part of the draw. John becomes the first player in his quarter to advance to the round of 16. He'll now play either John Fitzgerald or Robert Green. McEnroe in his 8th U.S. Open looks as strong as ever. Probably the best point of this match right here. A reminder that following football, we'll have Jimmy Connors live, our birthday boy, against hard-hitting Henri Lacan of France. We'll see you later, Brent.
What a remarkable point that was out there earlier, and I'm sure we'll have more just like that. Right now, let's send you back to the Silverdome in Detroit.